Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about why life is a lie. Life is too serious. From a young age, we start tutoring and our parents start to create a life plan for us. They plan for college, they plan for PhDs, they plan for everything in our life, but we don't get to reflect on ourselves and how we're doing. In high school and college, we're too busy working on projects, on essays, and we don't have time to look back and reflect on where we're going in life, why we're going to college, what do we want to accomplish in our own lives. I'm going to be brutally honest that it's not our fault. Life is difficult. The downs feel a lot worse than the ups, and especially in 2020, we feel isolated from everyone else due to COVID and a lot of the other worldly events that are going on. Suicide rates are increasing, and alcoholism, drug use are all increasing, and they're at their all-time highs in 2020. But what can you do about this? With that said, let's get on with how you can compare video games to real life. When we think about video games, it's very obvious to us how we can improve. We get experience points for killing enemies, for example, and with that experience we level up and we have access to more items and we get more gold and harder quests, and then we continue to rinse and repeat this process. On the other hand, when we think about life, it's not so clear cut. How do we improve? Do we try out new hobbies? Should we study more? Should we try and learn business? What do we do? Now, I'm going to tell you right here that I don't have all the answers, but what I do have are some suggestions on how you can go about finding this path for yourself. If you think about it like this, imagine yourself in a dense forest, and in video games, you have a clear-cut path, a road to the right path, where to go, where you need to fight some boss or some mobs. But in life, you're in a dense forest, but there's no roads. It's all the same. It looks all the same, and you don't know which direction to travel in. That's life, and it's scary. But I'm here to tell you that if we look closely at the mechanics of video games, we can apply those to our own lives. Quests in video games don't repeat themselves because that would get boring, but they do follow a certain storyline. For example, we might help a wizard collect an item, and we might continue helping the wizard collect items until we are strong enough to be able to go out on our own. This is sort of the storyline that video games follow to keep it enticing and to have purpose to why you're doing what you're doing. Now, something similar can be applied to life. It doesn't matter what you do in life as long as you follow a certain mantra or a big idea that gives you purpose and that you can continue to use as motivation moving forward. For example, I might really enjoy helping other people, and as a result, I am split between two choices of getting a teaching degree or getting a medical degree. And obviously these two choices are very different. Teaching and medicine are very different, but the core principle is helping people. You can help kids or you can help patients. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. What path do you take? How do you know which one is the right one? And as long as you follow your core idea, both the teaching and the medical degree are technically going to fulfill you in your life. In video games, risk and reward are highly correlated, and it's very easy to see this. To put it simply, the harder the quest, the more gold and the more loot you get. Pretty simple, right? This creates an incentive to keep on going to harder quests or harder missions to keep on getting more gold and to keep leveling up your character. On the other hand, in life, risk and reward, even though are correlated, it's very hard to physically see this. For example, if I have an exam coming up and I spend 10 hours, I risk 10 hours of my life to study for this exam and end up failing it. Where's the reward in that? I risked 10 hours when I could be doing something else, but I got no reward. People who see that they don't get any reward from studying only look through life in one lens, which is the physical rewards that they get, and they don't look through the intellectual or the spiritual or well-being. Those kinds of lenses are very important because ultimately it's a culmination of all those lenses that make sure that you have a happy and successful life. So how can we apply this to our own lives? We can start by asking the questions of, is the difficulty worth it? Am I getting enough rewards for doing it? Finding the balance between risk and reward is very difficult, and I don't think anyone has a grasp on it. On one hand, there are people who go through life always choosing the easy path. They never get a lot of rewards, and they end up wondering why they couldn't fulfill their dreams or they can't get successful. On the other hand, there are a group of people who always choose a hard task. They say yes to every hard task, but in the end they can't manage it. They have too many things on their plate and they end up having no results to show for it. The balance is different for everyone and it's very difficult to find. But if you internalize this message and are self-aware of when you're feeling overstressed or underworked, you can wiggle your way to find an area in which the balance is just right so that you can live a fulfilled and happy life. Having an ending to video games is what motivates us players to finish. In a story game, we want to finish the game so that we know what happens at the end. In a first-person shooter, we might want to finish so that we can find out who wins, the other team or us. Similar to my talking points before, the end game in life is very eerie and very difficult to decipher. How do we know if we are successful? Is it the money? Is it the fame? We spawn into life as a baby, obviously, but we have no clear-cut way of measuring our success. We have to follow people on social media, or we have to follow our parents to define what success means. But in the end, if we don't define success for ourselves, we end up feeling a lot more regretful of the actions that we've done in our life. We need goals and objectives in order to have purpose and meaning. I might have a goal to travel while working, for example, and I might decide to choose marketing so that I can fulfill that dream. I might love sports and train to become a professional athlete so that I can participate in professional sports. Whatever your goal might be, it needs to be concrete and it needs to be obtainable. Start by finding out what your passions are and practice that as much as possible to find out what you truly like and what you want to achieve. Alright guys, hopefully those 3 comparisons between life and video games helped you gain a bigger perspective on life. If you enjoyed this video or found value, please consider subscribing or liking this video. It really helps out.